Hi everyone, I'm Hannah. Welcome to my allotment for another week's allotment vlog. I'm sat inside my small greenhouse right now and it's finally planted up. I think I'm still gonna try to squeeze in a few more things, but it's done. So I'm gonna turn you around and I'm gonna talk you through it. Such a beautiful evening on the plot tonight. The sun has just gone behind some clouds, so it makes it a little bit easier to be inside this greenhouse, I must say. And yeah, as you can see, I've rammed in quite a few plants. Right, so what I've got, which are the main ones I started by placing out, are my aubergines. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I've got 4 and 5 here, and there are 3 varieties. So this is Czech Early, Black Beauty, is it? Yeah. And then I have a candy stripe one, which was given to me in exchange for luffa seedlings. So I'm not sure what the variety is called, but I'm excited to grow it. So we'll see how it goes. So this one, the Czech Early, has had a flower. It's been open yesterday and today, but I guess they close, which I either forgot or didn't know. I'm not sure. And I've been doing this to it all day, hoping it will get pollinated. So aubergine flowers have both the male and the female parts to it, but it does need to be agitated either by a pollinator or the wind or someone brushing past it, right? Or someone like me who's sitting right here. And hopefully that means it will be pollinated. So you might see here I've got 2 strings attached to my aubergine, and I have secured them underneath the plant when I planted, and then they are secured at, well, approximately 45-degree angles. It's a bit less than that up in the ceiling, right? Oh. So what I'm going to do is here where the plant has naturally split into 2, I'm going to train one shoot up here and another shoot up here. And that will mean that the plant will be able to produce 2 fruiting stems, and all other side shoots I will remove, just like a tomato plant. And it will mean that it can concentrate on producing fewer but larger fruits, right? And that's what I prefer to do. So I've started twisting it about, and then as soon as it starts growing up, I will continue twisting them. And then I have quite a few melons. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 melons, and they are going up strings as well. 1 string, and they we'll see how tall they go. But I have put them all up into the ceiling, but I don't think they'll grow that tall. So I think yeah, that's the watermelon. All the other ones are honeydew or cantaloupe. And we'll see this one. And this one are probably the most advanced ones. This is Rich Sweetness. This has had a flower or 2, and this one's flowering at the moment. This is Emir, and then there's another. Oh, that was probably not according to plan. I've got 2 Rich Sweetness here. Oh well, there we go. I don't have the best of luck. There I am. I don't have the best of luck with melons, so I've gone for redundancy here. And they will hopefully climb up, and then if they get that far, I will let them trail down again. And I'm hoping that I will get some fruit this year. And then I have in this corner a luffa plant, and it will also climb up. It's actually flowered, and I'm not sure yet if this has been pollinated or not. It's a fruit there. We'll see how we get on, and we'll see how far it will climb up. And then I have another one, another luffa plant here as well, and it has also flowered, so we'll see. But then all the other plants are chilies, hot chilies and sweet peppers. So this is Nigel's outdoor hot pepper, and I've actually already harvested 1 fruit of this, and I have another plant as well, and 1 of that one. So they have started. They apparently are growable outside in the UK climate, though I've never managed to do it. So I did not top my chilies this year, but as you can see, they sort of split and start producing side shoots anyway. Possibly because I kept them in small pots, these kind of pots, for a long time, so they were quite stressed, meaning that I might have encouraged this to happen sooner. Because I have not been feeding them, and I've been mistreating them, and I've underwatered them, and they've had fungus gnat infections and whatnot, they might have been so stressed that they have done this anyway. But I thought I'd point out that these are my untopped peppers. This is a padron pepper. Some of them are much smaller than others. This is an early jalapeno, which is absolutely tiny. And then the calico, which is beautiful, variegated. And purple flowers. It's doing well, right, but it's also absolutely tiny. And rocoto, which had a lot of sun scald, so I've removed all the original leaves on it. But I'm hoping they will grow bigger now that they're planted out. So this is Chinese dragon tongue, and these fruits should be bigger, so we'll see what happens now. So last year I grew all my chilies and my sweet peppers and my aubergines in pots, and as I've done that before inside my house, I thought that would work fine, and I guess it does, but you do need to keep up with the watering, and things dry out much quicker in a greenhouse than they do inside your house. And I just do not have the capabilities to do that kind of watering. So I was umming and ahhing what to do this year, whether to go for bigger pots or to plant them in the bed. So I went with planting them in the bed. If you're not great at watering like me, it is better to plant your tomatoes and all those kind of thirsty veg in the ground, because it means that you're less reliant on, they are less reliant on you watering them, right? Especially if you have a recurring problem with blossom end rot on your tomatoes, which is a problem caused by, well, it's a calcium deficiency, but it's usually aggravated by irregular watering, right? If that's something you struggle with, then definitely think about if you can plant them in the ground instead. So I have no dig beds made inside my greenhouses, right? And I did that on purpose because I knew that I prefer to grow my tomatoes that way, and I don't get blossom end rot like ever. I think I've had one tomato do that. Oh, now I say that, I'm probably gonna have loads this year, but you know what I mean. Because the roots can go down deep and look for their own water supply, it's less of a problem, and there's a larger capacity for the soil to keep the water in. But I was still a little bit nervous about doing that to my chilies and my peppers this year, partly because chilies and peppers, they produce more fruit when they are stressed, right? And being in the ground, they might get too much of a good thing, and I might just get large. There's a balancing act, right? You need a sort of some plant growth, right, to be able to sustain the fruit, especially on a sweet pepper where the fruit is larger, or you want larger fruit. But you also don't want just bushy green growth. You actually want the flowers and the fruit. So it's a little bit of a balancing act with chilies and peppers. But I just am so busy this year, there's no way I could water every day even, so having them in the ground will mean the pressure's off me for a little bit anyway. I've put the pots next to the plants, as you might have seen, because it aids with the watering. Again, I don't have time, especially when you're watering in the greenhouse, that the top of the soil layer is usually super dry, and it doesn't get moist until further down. But that dry layer on top means that it becomes hydrophobic, which means that it kind of water runs off it like a goose's back. So the way to get around it is to go with a fine rose and water, or water with a sprayer or something like that to wet it first, and then wait a bit, and then you water again, right? So it can actually sink down. but that takes ages and I don't have time to do that. So instead I will water inside the pots, and they will run deep down into the bottom layers where the roots are anyway, and in that way I can both speed up watering, and then a secondary good thing about it is that with plants like melon and like luffa and also cucumber in the other greenhouse, I don't risk wetting the stem where it sits in the ground, meaning there's less risk of the stem rotting, which is a common problem, which is my main problem with melons my previous years. So I think doing it this way now will hopefully help me stay on top of watering, help me get a good chili and pepper crop, and will hopefully help me have a chance at harvesting at least one melon from one of my 6 plants in here. The luffa is more of an experiment this year, and we'll see how we get on. I actually have 5 plants, and check in with me in a few months' time and we'll see how crazy they go in here. Supposedly they can climb over everything in here very quickly, so we'll see how we get on. I have enough strings everywhere, and I'm hoping it will be okay. So the thing I didn't touch upon are my dwarf tomatoes that I have here, so let's have a look at them. So these are the dwarf house tomatoes. I sowed them, do I have this on here? 16th of March, and they are a dwarf bush variety, and they basically have this kind of growing habitat. They won't get much taller than a foot, so they have reached their height now, and they're starting to flower, and they'll start producing side shoots with more flowers. So they create a tiny little cherry, just like the flowers suggest that are small. They'll create a small little cherry. So this one can be grown on your windowsill, and that is a plan of mine in case it doesn't work out in here. It might get too hot in these tiny little pots, they might dry out too quickly, but I'm thinking having direct sun will improve the flavor of them, and no one likes flavorless tomatoes. But the good thing about them, because they're so small and compact, means that you can sow them early in the year without the risk of them becoming, you know, outgrow your space that you have to grow them in. So next year I'm gonna start them even earlier, and I might even try to overwinter these. We'll see how they go. I think I might need to repot them at some point if I want to do that, but we'll see. So they look a little bit like bonsai, don't they? Tomato bonsai, and it's quite fun. But yeah, so those will be my earliest tomatoes. So far I've only planted 1 nasturtium plant in here. I have a few dwarf nasturtiums called Empress of India, and I have a few more plants of those, and I thought I'd put them in here. Mainly because I've always grown tomatoes and chilies and aubergines all together in one greenhouse, and because when you grow tomatoes you always grow marigolds. And this is because the marigolds, the roots of the marigold actually deter certain pests of the tomato, which is probably also then true for this group of planting, because they're part of the same family, you know, the nightshade family. So maybe I'll try to squeeze in a dwarf marigold in here as well. But the other reason why you grow marigolds inside your greenhouse is to pull in the pollinators, because they flower so profusely. And at first I was like not gonna plant in any flowers here, but then you risk not getting pollinators and no fruit. So I'm going to squeeze in some more nasturtiums, and then that's it. I don't think I can put anything else in here. Well, you can watch me try. Maybe some nasturtiums then, and some marigolds. Will I fit them all in? Anyway, okay, let's go look at some tomatoes outside. Right guys, while I have your attention, would you consider giving this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it, if you like what I do, if you find it entertaining or maybe educational, because it would really mean a lot to me. Right, let's get back to the video. So this is what the greenhouse looks from the outside, and yeah, it's still a mess outside here, but how gorgeous are these? So we've had some slugs visiting my sunflowers in this little trough, But the lobelia are coming out, starting to flower, and I noticed these dwarf sunflowers are starting to flower as well now, so it's cool. I planted up the petunias that I bought just from B&Q. This is that one, Starry Night or whatever it's called, and this is just a peachy, pinky one. And these irises, I don't remember them being this color when I bought them, and they don't really go in this color scheme, but I mean, it's looking pretty enough, isn't it? And this I've just planted up with one of my dahlias that I grew last year. It's just a one I got from my mother, and I don't know what the variety is. This is a self-seeded foxglove, and it comes back every year and kindly supplies me with lots of seedlings all over this place, but I love it, so I keep it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This year it's more pink. Last year it was slightly more peachy, more like all of them were like this. I'm getting some pink now, so it's a nice variation every year. And over here I've got the first small cascading tomatoes. So I'm growing 3 varieties of these kind of cascading bush tomatoes that work so well in hanging baskets, and I've got 3 hanging baskets, but these I also thought I would put them in here. So this is Tumbling Tom, it's a red cherry. Actually, I think they're all red. This is Cherry Falls, and this is Micro Cherry. So Tumbling Tom I've grown before. This is home saved seed, and they grew really well last year. Absolutely massive, like I've never seen anything like it. And they are growing the way I expect them to grow. Squat and bushing out already. These 2, I don't know, they don't look like bush varieties yet anyway. They're not, well, they might start to bush out now. But yes, I'm a little bit suspicious that they're not dwarfs, but yeah, we'll see. I'll show you on the actual seedling. This one I've left because I have one more dwarf, which is lemon sherbet. I just haven't had time to plant it up. And this one also is, you know, typical dwarf. And I'm really excited. So this is just the name, you know, I had to buy it. Lemon sherbet. Could it possibly taste like lemon sherbet? I'm excited to see. And I think, yeah, some flowers coming. Definitely time to plant this. Right, so we're just by the small greenhouse here, and these are all my leftover tomatoes that all need to go out into the ground. They are all starting to get a bit yellow. And here's another lemon sherbet, and these are 2 Tumbling Toms. But then these quite tall ones are the other dwarfs, right? Micro Cherry and Cherry Falls. This is, you see what I mean? Like, it doesn't look like, it doesn't look any different from the tall variety tomatoes I have, which is slightly worrying. I just hope they are correct. I hope they are right. So we'll see. But yes, I have a lot of dying and suffering tomatoes here, but they should be okay as soon as they get in the ground. It's all ready. I just need the time to do it. And the tomatillos are also here, and they are also starting to produce flowers now. So yeah, need to get all of these in the ground at some point. So I've talked a few times about gardening overwhelm, right, in my vlogs this year, and it's hit me quite bad this year, I think, because I've expanded quite a lot. I've taken on this vlog project, and work has kicked up a notch again following the pandemic, or the ease of the pandemic, right? So we're starting to get back into gear, and it's hard to keep up with everything. I've really went crazy this year on a lot of things. And yeah, I'm feeling it, definitely feeling it. But here we are, the large greenhouse, which is another addition this year. So you'll have to excuse the mess in the center. So I planted up the tomatoes, and I showed you that in the last vlog. But then I had all these other chili plants that I was like, well, I'm not gonna be able to bin those, and yeah, so I found space for them in here, and that includes some cucumbers, and some more melons. So I'm expecting half the melons or all the melons to die, so I planted for redundancies, right? And then I've got the same chilies in here. These are just the smaller versions of. And the tomatoes are doing well. I think there are some flowers starting, yeah, some flower trusses are starting to come. And seeing as I sowed these in March, end of March, they're doing all right. We'll see. Some of these peppers though, yeah, so this kind of leaf curl, I mean this plant has been weird all along, and this is, they have both been the same. I have two plants of the same, right? And yeah, I'm just not sure. So this leaf curl here is from the temperature swinging in the greenhouse, and you can see it quite often on tomatoes as well. So yeah, let's switch around. I'll talk more about that. So I mentioned it last week with tomatoes. So the leaf curl that you can see in tomatoes, unless it's extreme and you see a narrowing of the leaves and a distortion of the leaf formation when they first start at the growing tip, which could be a sign of aminopyrrolide contamination in your soil or in your compost or in your manure. The other kind of leaf curl, which is environmental, it is nothing to worry about unless it's severe, right? And it's a response to the heat fluctuations usually in a greenhouse or a polytunnel in the UK. So because we still have quite cool nights where it can go down to single figures, and then during the day it goes up to, you know, could go to 40 or above. They don't like that, so that's the kind of the response that they have. So it's something to look out for. It's very important to air your greenhouse out. Some people suggest that cooling down your greenhouse by watering if you have slabs or something like that, but it does create a very humid environment, and it's not good for, it can encourage fungal disease to get into your greenhouse, for example blight. So definitely towards the later in the year, that's not something that I would advise, and even now I would be loath to do that. It's better to ventilate. You can even take some of the glass out. I usually take the top corner bit out to increase ventilation, and then leave the doors open during the night as well, just to keep that swinging pendulum of the temperature a bit down. Right, let's leave this place because it's super warm here. Oh, goodness me, in the evening sun. It's just beats down onto the greenhouses here. The plants love it, but me not so much, maybe. So here, waiting to be planted, are some of my marigolds. These are flowering already. They're called Legion of Honor. Very pretty. And they're dwarfs. These ones are supposedly also dwarf, but as you can see, they're already getting quite tall. And these I grew last year, and they were ginormous. So I'm not going to grow them in the greenhouse because I don't trust them to not just take over everything. And they were the same grown outside as well. Absolutely ginormous. They're supposed to be only a foot tall, right? But they were like a meter and going insane. And I got some calendula as well, so these will go out with the tomatoes that are growing outside. But yes, otherwise I have a lot of seedlings that are not very happy. I hope I hope none of you are in the same situation as me. So I got cosmos, got some more flowers. These are my edible lupins that are starting to flower now. Whoa. And yeah, they have these blue flowers, and as you can see, they're going very yellow. I could have got around this if I had fed my plants, but I'm loath to do that because, yeah, I just don't have the time. This is my basil that's supposed to go in with the tomatoes, and that is the next job. And these are the Greek basil. How cute are they? they will form little balls of basil, and I really look forward to that. And I've got the sweet basils, normal basil. This is the cinnamon, and this is the lemon. So as you can see, I lost quite a few, and that's because I kept them in the greenhouse from they were pricked out, right? And it was still quite cool in May, as you all hopefully remember. So they did not like that. Basil is a warm-loving plant. They're happy now though. They're still in quite a small module here. This is a CD61. And I'm just going to put them straight from this into the large greenhouse, and they're going to grow just next to the path. So it's all no digging here, the path as well, and it's just they're going to grow in the slope here. It'll be great. But yes, for the last bit of the video, I thought I'd just do a quick check on how things are growing in the rest of the plot. Mainly, it's a lot of grass. So I did no mow May, and I still haven't got around to getting it all cut. I mean, I love doing no mow May, mainly because I hate mowing, but it's a bit of an issue now. It's too tall for the lawnmower, and my little electric trimmer, you know, it doesn't, you run out of the battery very quick because it's such a big job for it. So I'm getting there slowly, and I'll show you how far I got. So now we're at the top apex of the plot. 2 greenhouses are down there, as you can see, and this is my lavender hedge that I've got growing, and I've actually managed to reveal it now that I've cut the grass down around here. So the lavender's starting to flower, and as I showed you in last vlog, I planted out the sunflowers. They have survived, maybe not grown much, and they're supposed to be tall varieties, so we'll see. Again, I'm not watering, so it's a bit of an issue. Ooh, what's that? Do you think that's a sunflower? Oh, that might be a self-sown one. Well, I'm definitely leaving that. That, however, is not a sunflower. Oh, it's come from the grass. Alright, that's okay. Bindweed, don't you just love it? But yes, would you look at the sweet peas? They are just divine. I have a massive vase full inside already, but I need to cut these. I need to cut them. They are just beautiful. But yes. Sweet peas, lovely. And in front here we have coriander flowering. And lots of bindweed. So that's a theme for you. But yeah, the broad beans are coming along. I'll show you in a bit. And under here are brassicas. I'm really sad to say that my kohlrabi are bolting. I sowed some carrots last week, and they are all actually coming up now. I'll see if I can... No, that's too far away. Oh! So yeah, you see that little green fussiness? That's the carrots coming up, and I haven't actually watered them since I sowed them, so I'm pretty impressed that it came up so quickly. That's the summer temperatures for you. Things just grow much quicker in the warmth. And yeah, I grow them under this mesh, right, because of the carrot root fly. I know it's not supposedly active this time of year, but it also stops cats digging them up, other little critters to come onto them, like deer or rabbits or anything like that, or other birds that might come in and just like nibble at them because they look tasty. So I just keep the mesh on, and then when the carrot fly is active again later in the year, it's already on there and I don't need to worry about it. The broad beans are coming, and yeah, I'm gonna be harvesting very soon. This is exciting. And all the garlic is doing really well under the mesh. It has kept the allium leaf miner off, so they are all gonna be good, I promise. And some more onions as well under mesh, and they're all doing great. And the flower mound is starting to come together. I haven't planted out the dahlias yet. still need to do that. But yes, it's looking good, and it's got some elderflower flowering in the back as well. And these lupins are just great, aren't they? And yeah, I can't wait for next year when they've hopefully established a bit more. This stuff has gone a bit insane. So it's this nicotiana. So it self-seeds like crazy. But it is absolutely adored by pollinators. So I'm gonna let it do its thing this year, but I'm gonna have to rip a lot of it out because it's just spread everywhere. These, I have no idea what they are. But yeah, I think I might have had them in the garden and they just never flowered. But now that I've planted them out here, they start flowering. So that's exciting. But yes, so this is as far as I got with the grass. So I still can't see my raspberries. So yeah, I need to get on that. So I planted some blueberry plants last year. I made a video about that. I can link that up here if you want. And I put them in the ground. But the thing about blueberries is that they do best. They are woodland plants, so they do best grown in acidic soils. So how do you do that when you have just heavy clay? Well, I took some pots, large pots, and I cut the bottoms off, and then I dug a hole to plant the pot, and I planted the blueberry inside the pot using ericaceous compost, and they've done well, and they are 3 of them have flowered this year, and they are now producing the fruit. I don't know what's wrong with the 4th one. I mean, it's got growth and whatnot, but it's not been flowering. So, but yeah, we're gonna get some blueberries anyway. I'm not sure you can find them because I sometimes struggle to find them. But in this grass, and you can see the pot here, and it's kept it fairly weed free, being in a pot like this, which also helps it establish. But you can see that I've got lots of berries coming here, and obviously birds love blueberries, so I need to net them pretty soon before they start changing color, because otherwise I won't have any. But yes, this is the one that's not flowering, and I don't know why. I have more fruit bushes here, but they're hidden fairly well. So I'm just stood up here in my oldest bed area. I'm just looking at all the broccoli. Can you see that? Wow! I mean, they are getting fairly big now, and I think I'm going to be harvesting fairly soon. They're absolutely gorgeous under there. I'm sorry you can't see them, but I don't have time to take off the mesh. Lots of peas, mangetout, and the golden ones. I'm so happy I chose these because they're so easy to find. They sort of shine from a distance, and you know, you don't even have to look for them. It's great. These green ones, I mean, it doesn't look like there's any there, but I'm sure there are. I just can't see them. And oh my god! Sorry, sweet corn. But wow, the rosa crone. Oh, I didn't see this earlier. So they started flowering. How cute are they? So they grow like no other peas I've ever seen. Like that, like almost like yeah, like a plant. Just, I don't know, like a tomato almost. And they have beautiful flowers. I look forward to these peas. It's gonna be beautiful. And these monstrosities, they're as tall as me now. Seriously. Well, nearly as tall as me anyway. We're getting there, probably by tomorrow, because they grow about a foot a day. So these are the purple ones, and they are also easy to spot, which I love. So it's going to be no problems finding these. Have you seen anything more divine? Wow. And then the aldermen are also coming along. And then my Hurst green shaft has already got fairly large peas. But yeah, they're gonna swell up nicely in the next week or so. Quite excited for that. The lettuce bed is also looking beautiful. even though the spinach is flowering, but that's okay. Look at these, so gorgeous. I need to pick more lettuce, as always. So beautiful. So I'm back down by the greenhouses now, and I thought I would just show you the ginormous rhubarb, right? It goes from there all the way to there. That's how big it is. It's insane. I've got my potatoes in containers growing there. I need to water them. But yes, it's looking so lovely now, isn't it? I mean, bar all the mess, of course. And there's the asparagus bed. I basically need to weed a lot this weekend, as well as plant out. But I think planting out is priority, because things need to go, and they have needed to go a long time. I'm gonna leave you there. I hope you get out and do some of the jobs that you need to do this weekend. I surely will try.